Good evening, friends, and welcome to the final interview of the day. It's been rocking and rolling here on the Outer Spotlight Show, and we saved the best for last. We've got Alan Warren in the house, and renowned author. I mean, this guy has got a storybook career, has a successful radio show. He's interviewed all kinds of people. Even before we went on the air live here, we were cutting up backstage. So I told him when we went live, I'm gonna get back at him. So we'll save that for a little bit later in the interview. Again, a special thank you to Mickey with Creative Edge for allowing Alan to be on our show here this evening. Again, our show is being brought to you by Music Dreams USA Radio Worldwide. We play everything for everyone. Table and Mike Productions, Eagle Street Corporation, and Biker Babe Barber and Company, and one of our brand new sponsors, OTW Salvage. And they do all kinds of things. They do many different services for Myrtle Beach and surrounding areas. If you have a project, you need some help with it, just go to Facebook and look up OTW Salvage, and they'll be more than happy to help you. And just let them know you heard the ad right here on the Outer Spotlight Show. So, without any further ado delay, I am super excited. Alan has got a magical career, and we're going to have a great time with him this evening. So, Alan, how are you, my friend? Welcome to the show.
I'm delicious.
what flavor would that be?
Well, I'll tell you, a little crazy right now. Fruit Loops, how's that? No, things are good. Things are good. So you're saving the best for last. Who's coming on?
You're the last one for today, my friend.
That's the best.
That's right. We're saving the best
Oh.
for last, man. So when Mickey and I were going over the roster, right? And then he had told me, he said, "Yeah, I got Alan, man. Alan's gonna be free, and we gotta definitely get him on the show." I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, that's like a no brainer."
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
said, "We're gonna save him to our 5 o'clock slot, you know."
Oh,
And
drive
so,
time.
yeah, you're on the drive time right now, man.
Drive
You are
time.
front and center stage.
Yeah,
People
they'll
watch
get
now.
you
We'll be watching later.
Yeah, they'll be driving off the road. Accident time happening.
Oh yeah, accidents and surprises, and that's going to happen during this interview right now, man. We're going
Uh-oh.
to go through so many different turns, and does it feel like we're on the roller coaster, Alan?
Yeah. Well, go for it while you can, right? Get that done. Yeah. So what's going on?
That's right. So let me ask you this: for our listeners watching now, we'll be watching later. Can you maybe kind of like open up the show and share like how you got into the business of what you're doing now, and where are you now, and are you working on any new projects?
Well, where did it all begin? 1962. I'm old. And no, actually, I was doing producing other people's shows. I was producing people. I was recording and doing the editing and all that. And I got to do an interview with someone. It was Lee Harvey Oswald's girlfriend at the time he shot President Kennedy. And so I interviewed her for about 2 hours. And then all of a sudden, stations started asking me if I wanted to do a show. And that's kind of how it started. So it was complete accident, not planned. And I thought, you got to be kidding. I'm terrible. Why would you want to?
Mhm.
And so I did that. And started doing a show in Phoenix on a radio station. And it was Saturday morning at 6 a.m. So nobody listened. And that took off, and I was doing okay. And then I got this gig with NBC in LA. And I don't know, the rest is history. Originally, and it's called House of Mystery, originally it was about mystery. So we took any mystery. It could be paranormal mystery, murder mystery. It could be anything that's a question mark that people wonder about. And then we started talking about that, and we would have people on that covered that area. You know what I mean? So you talk to whoever it was. They wrote a book about it, or they made a video or film about it, or whatever. And we would talk about that. And just over the years, we're in our 16th year now. It just expanded into more mystery than just those. Like we've started expanding and getting into a lot of other details. So, and that's that. That's all we do. Political mystery.
Wow. All right.
And yeah, and I just started writing. Some places wanted me to write little articles for the magazines and newspapers back when they were still kind of around at the beginning, and so I was doing that, and I got a small book for a publisher in Toronto, and then it just that did well and it took off, and that's what I've got, and I've done 39 books now.
Wow.
I'm tired.
When is number 40 coming?
Well, I've got 3 or 4 right now that I'm working on, because you work on more than one at a time, because a lot of times you're trying to get information for a book and it takes time. And so while you're waiting for papers or documents or approval to go see someone in prison, you can work on other things. So I've always got 4 or 5 projects. I'll probably have one come out in fall. The next one will be fall of this year. I'd say September, October. Depends
Awesome.
on how it goes.
Well, in your during your career, I mean, you've had opportunity to interview some very notorious criminals. Can you maybe share? I mean, we could probably just take the whole show time and to name all the people that you've interviewed. Who are some of the most notorious criminals that you've interviewed that really are at the top of the list for you right now during your career?
Well, it's what people are most interested in are things like the real Hannibal the Cannibal, and I've been a pen pal. Sounds pretty weird, with him for a long time, for years. So I've got tons of letters, and we've communicated a lot over the years. And he's really popular, of course. So he's probably the most popular, but he's also probably the most unrecognizable from what you see, like Hannibal the Cannibal in the movies and Anthony Hopkins and the series and stuff, is not the real, like what the real Hannibal Cannibal's like. I mean, there's the eating of people, but it's not the same character, and that's probably the biggest, surprise. Uh, so he's probably one of the biggest. I don't know. There's quite a few of them. It depends what you like. All the Manson family and the people like that from Charles Manson, and that interview book is probably one of the more popular ones too, because people are always interested in Charles Manson. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean Charles Manson, and I mean the list goes on and on and on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when you're actually investigating these stories, to put together for your book, what are maybe some of the misconceptions that the public is taking on those?
Oh, they well, see, because most people think these killers and serial killers and cult people are super intelligent, that they're amazing. They think, they picture Anthony Hopkins. They picture this guy with charisma, brains, charm, well read, just it's got everything together. It's just a total person. That's not it. Nine times out of 10, you meet them, they're nothing like that. They're just normal people. Besides the fact of killing and doing stuff, but what I'm saying. If you met them in a supermarket or in whatever, just on the street downtown, you would not spot them any different. They would be the same as any average person you'd meet. And that's
Wow.
probably the biggest surprise, because most of the shows and movies, they make that killer this something incredible. Like he's got it all. He's got everything: brains, charm, talent, and he can fake people all the time, and he laughs at the cops, and it's all this stuff. That's just not. They're just people, and yeah, they've got a killing thing or some fetish or something. But to meet them and talk to them, they're not any of that, and not even close. Very seldom do you find a real character like, let's say, Ted Bundy. You could say had a lot, because he was college, he was educated, smart, charming, the looks. So he was one of them. But that's few and far between before you do that. And if you think about how many people are in jail that are killers and serial killers right now, it's like it's one out of probably 100, to be honest. So that's the biggest misconception, I would say.
Looking back to when all this serial killing and all that stuff started to begin, and fast forward to today, what's the difference in what do you see? What's the trend as to why this is continuing? What do you think?
Human nature in general. I mean, I don't know in the sense that, again, a lot of the shows you'll see on TV, they have a beginning, middle, and ending, and they pick a killer and they'll tell you about him, and it's always the mother was a drunk and bad, the father beat them. They had this terrible life, and then they go out and do some bad things, and then they get caught, and they kind of always focus or aim on it's the parents or it's this. They always have a reason, so they make people feel safe. So you watch them, you get this guy, he gets does some bad stuff, he gets caught, and the mother beat him, and you just kind of think, oh, good, and it's over. And I guess that's kind of a reason why they do it, to give that comfort. But that's another thing that's not true. There's so many people, including myself, that had a much worse childhood than a lot of the people that I see or even have written about or done. Like their childhood, yeah, they have moments that are not great, and they might have a parent that's not great, but a lot of us did. This is not a one-off. So why would that person decide to go out and start murdering people? And I don't. And people that have had it worse than me, or even a lot of the other kids, think about some of the abuse that goes on, and they turn out to be really good people. So there's more to it than what they suggest, is all I say. I say there's a lot, it goes a lot deeper, but there's something in our human nature, and something, maybe the parent triggers it, but there's something else that goes on to make you go to that extra step where you start living your life just to murder, where it becomes the focus. That's all you're doing is making plans, and you live for that. Something else is going on there, right? And I couldn't tell you. A lot of people have guesses, but I don't want to say. And what's changed? Probably more the setting than anything,
Wow.
because because today is different, right? I mean, I just did that with Charles Manson. Like when I wrote that book, I took I wanted to take years and go into 65 to 1970 San Francisco. What was the setting like? If you lived there, what kind of place would you live in? What kind of money do you make for an average job? What kind of appliances do you have in your kitchen? When you get up in the morning, can you make coffee? Do you have a freezer? Do you have running water? All these things. It sounds corny, but if you don't have that setting, you can't totally understand why things happened, and then you got to go through the town. What was going on in the town? And there they had that hate Ashbury, a lot of pot, peace, love, all that stuff. There was the race riots. We had people, the underground, whether it meant underground blowing up buildings. You had, president being shot. They're trying to land on the moon. So you got to, because that's all important. Because if you think yourself living in 1965 San Francisco, all those things would be going on around you. So how you act and react to things, those are cause and effect. You have that, and so I think you have to really put the setting in, and then you bring in the murderer, and then you can start to understand first how they got away with it, why they might do things, and also why people react and do things. Like in that case there were plenty of parents that were giving their 14, 15-year-old girls over to communes like Charles Manson because they thought it was the right thing to do. They were
Wow.
going for that peace love thing, and they really got into the idea of commune family and living and all this sort of thing, and everything's beautiful, and they meet people like that, and he's just like, what a beautiful guy. And there's several. He wasn't the only one. And so that was really important, because if you don't know that, all of a sudden you have things happening, you're reading a book or learning about something, you're totally lost, or you think, why do they do that? Why do they do that? There's reasons. And you can also take it to the point of Charles Manson could have never done what he did if it wasn't for that setting. If you took him today and he came out now of prison, was who he is, he couldn't, it would have never happened. Not in that way. It would be something different. And he would have to learn the differences, the new world. You know what I mean? Like what's going on now. I mean, we've got social media, we've got a lot of things that we've got to deal with differently than they ever would have in the 60s. And that changes the train of thought, the method, the ideas, also the plans and how you plan things. Uh,
Yeah.
Huge difference. And I think that's the key to it. So when you get into crime and you get, or even if you get into history, any type, setting has to be the first thing you accomplish properly. You know, how do people talk? What do they say? Where do they dress? Like what kind of clothing? What music do they listen to? What's cool? What isn't cool? You know, what I mean? All of that is so important, especially when you got young readers too. You got someone that's born in 2000. You know, they're 26 years old. Isn't that wow? And they'd have no idea what's going on in 1965 San Francisco. They don't know what was they. You know, they can look on their cell phone, but it's not the same. You know, they could look it up. It's not going to be the same. They really have to understand it. So they have to. It has to be part of what they're reading when they're learning any part of history. You know, and you had the Vietnam War. There was so much going on. Man, I don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean, the Vietnam War. I mean, that definitely was a turning point, for our country, obviously, and so I couldn't agree with you more. But I want to go back, the Charles Manson and all the serial killers. You hear about the gun laws, that the gun laws are so weak that guns are very easily accessible to anyone. You know, the parents, maybe they're hunters, whatever the case may be, and they're just letting their guns like out in the open where the kids, that maybe are going through what you're saying. They're going through mental issues or whatever the case may be, but they're going through that, and all of a sudden they got the gun, which is very enticing to them. You're going through something, you're not quite sure what you're doing. You take the gun and you go out and you do some unthinkable things. If you look back at all the serial killers, right? A lot of those stories are about the guns, about how easy accessible they were to the guns, which helped them to commit these crimes. So, with that statement I just gave to you, do you agree? You don't agree?
Well, there's nothing to. It's true. Excuse me. It is what it is. However, someone feels about gun laws and gun regulation and political parties is one thing. But when you talk about reality, yeah, there's too many guns, too many just flying all over the place, and it's too many people have access to it, and there might be in a state where their emotions are not in control. Do you know something's happened to them? They're a little unstable, or they drink too much, or whatever the case. It really doesn't matter. But they're in a place where they're not really, having a weapon like a gun is probably not a good idea, right? Because their emotions are more powerful than anything else going on. So yeah, it's true. Having as many guns as you do, it's gonna yeah it's gonna come out because and not only that, see, the gun is one of the worst things in the fact that it's so easy to kill someone with a gun. Not only do you just learn to shoot, you just shoot them and they're dead or whatever. So it's not a hard thing. You don't have to beat them up, but it's also not as intimate, right? Like you can be out on the road and see someone that's saying something you don't like, and you could pull out your gun and shoot them. It's so easy as compared to if you took away that gun and you had to do something yourself physically, even with a knife. You have to be face to face, close, and in body contact, and kind of it's a different type of interaction. So what we've done is we've made it even easier by having all of the guns. That's all. And so I don't even have to say, anything political. All I can say is that yeah, it's a fact. There's too many guns, too many people not trained on guns, and too many people too young and emotionally unstable, and they shouldn't have a gun. Period. But where do we go from here? I don't know. I think that we should focus more on at least if you buy a gun, get a little bit of training, learn how to use it, learn how to handle it properly, load it, clean it. Some of the basics should be there. And I guess people just don't care enough, or there's just no, I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, the guns for sure. If you took away all the guns, we'd have a lot less problems. We still have murder. We still have a lot of the crime that goes on. I don't think as much, right? Like even when you go to school shootings or before that, when you get into it was post office shootings when I was young. There was everybody we say going postal, right? Because there was always a shooting.
They were
Someone
going postal.
they're going postal. That was a common. That was really common. So that in itself shows you that it's the access. So for at that moment, that person is unstable for whatever reason, and they've lost control, and they can go in and shoot everybody up in the post office or wherever because they're letting out all that aggression, that anger, and it's you can understand it. It's terrible. They're in a terrible state. There's something bad happening that they're in that state. But we can't focus on that. We got to focus on, man, now what? And if they didn't have the guns, they wouldn't happen. They might go to a postal office and have a knife and go crazy, or a hammer and try to start hitting people. That's possible. It's not going to do as much, or it's not going to be as easy, right? And you won't have as much death. So yeah, too many guns.
I agree with you. Now, you've had the opportunity to interview like investigators, authors, and some experts. During those conversations, which one really surprised you the most?
Ooh, surprised me. I don't know who would surprise me the most. I think with a lot of it, it's ooh, people like F. Lee Bailey, the lawyer, um, because I don't know, they're so he was so confident, so strong, but still really vulnerable in what happens to them in the public, still really caring. So that was probably the most surprising, that certain things, like, sounds corny, but just something about um, how they are portrayed in let's say the media or in movies or shows or stories about them probably surprised me the most, because most of them didn't like it, and you would think they did, because like F. Lee Bailey used it. Do you know what I mean? Like he had that,
Yeah,
yeah, swagger, and he was
it's
very,
like,
yeah,
mm,
and you knew it, but not really. That was his defense method. He was, like, and I think that's probably when you see it up close, you start to realize that a lot of these probably it's probably that way with a lot of people we meet, or images of stars and movie people and all that, and that we think they're really tough and they act like it, and they sure have the image and the ability to handle themselves. But you kind of, when you see someone like that is really strong in the public, and then you see them behind the scenes and you're talking, you realize that no, that's part of their shtick in order to stay alive, I guess, in it, because it's brutal. And that, someone like that would probably be really, um, yeah, Marsha Clark, the O.J. Simpson,
oh
that was,
yeah,
that was surprising too, because again, she's strong, but not, and I don't want to get slammed for saying that. I think she's very smart, very good at what she did as a lawyer, but she was in a situation that she was never going to win, and for a lot of reasons. And I think a lot of it got put onto her, and I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think it was more. There's a lot of other reasons. Probably one of them was her being a woman. That was one of her biggest struggles to fight through at that time in the 90s, and being supposed to be the prosecutor. You know what I mean? Like there was something
Yeah.
about the way women were thought of and the way they were treated, and it wasn't a good time for her to be that kind of doing that big of a case, and she had a lot of things against her. I mean, look at the all of his lawyers and all of that stuff. Like it, just the whole scenario was
I mean,
bad.
he was acquitted. I mean, he was
Yeah.
acquitted.
Well, he had
And then
he
later
had
on, they found him guilty. I mean, how
because
can
he
you?
had the money, he had the power, he had the timing, right? I mean,
Mhm.
even if you talk to her, even when I talked to her about once about that case, which is an interview I've got, she even one of her biggest upsets, her focus was more about Judge Ito than about any of the other stuff, because that was the way she was treated by him really, really set the stage that it was uphill battle, even though everybody thought he did it, period. Or, a lot of people, most people. And there was just, there was just a lot of evidence and a lot of stuff. And it didn't matter. Didn't matter. They were going to rip it apart, and there was nothing she could do. So I think that was one of her biggest challenges, and in her mind for sure. And I think it probably was. So yeah, it's a tough
I'm
job.
glad you brought O.J. Simpson. I got a question for you. With you being an expert, right? So, who did O.J. Simpson play football for? What team?
I don't know.
The Buffalo Bills. All
Okay,
right.
go
Here's
Buffalo.
how I'm going with this. Right? Yeah. Here's how I'm going with this. The Buffalo Bills just built a brand new stadium. But before building this brand new stadium, they had the old stadium, Highmark Stadium, right? And
Right,
on the Highmark Stadium, they had O.J. Simpson's name on the stadium. All right. This is after the fact now. This is after the trial and going back and forth, blah, 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 right? And his name was on the stadium. Fast forward, they build a brand new stadium and they decide that O.J. Simpson is no longer a fit to be put on their wall of fame.
right.
And that drove a lot of Buffalo's fans crazy. Here's my question to you as an expert, right? I mean, I understand what he did. He did a lot of crazy things off the field. But do you think it's fair that what he did on the football field should be separated from what he did on the outside? I mean, you can't judge someone who broke many records. Some records are still they have not been broken. And so, what is your take on that? Do you agree? You disagree? I mean, me personally, I'll go on public and say I disagree with that. I think
Yeah.
that you should not judge him on what he did outside of his the football field. If you're an athlete, you should be judged on what you do on the playing field, not outside.
Yeah, I think you're probably correct, because it had nothing to do with what he accomplished in the football field, and it wasn't directed at it. So, like some people, they'll play baseball or something, they've done bad things, and it was, like people take a dive, or boxing, or people that do something with their career. Yeah, that's one thing. Yeah, and you're probably right. The problem is, um, it's too close. It's too now. You know, People still have a lot of emotions and feelings about it. In 100 years from now, nobody's going to care. Do you know what I mean? Like we're going to be walking down the street, and if it said O.J. Simpson, they'd go, "Oh yeah, yeah, wasn't he a player? Oh, didn't he kill his wife?" It'll be kind of, but there's no emotion if they even remember or know about it. And but right now, there's a lot of people eh, still feeling it, and so it's really, and then people are going to feel. There's going to be females that feel that you put his name up, you're celebrating him. You're celebrating for him for something he did, and he's a terrible person. And in a way, they're right too, because he did do something and he should be celebrated, but he was not a good person. But how do I don't know. I don't know how you handle that. I really don't know the answer to that. I think they both have points. Um, for me, I would, if they wanted to put his name on, they could. It wouldn't bother me, for the fact that I could separate what a what bad things he did from the things that he accomplished. I can do that because I think most humans have skeletons and most do things that a lot of people would like, but that's not what we're promoting. You know, if you're a writer, or if you're a whatever, a singer or a movie star, and then you find out something about them, people get, oh, they, you know, you can't really cancel people. That's kind of a, it's just not going to happen. And if anything, by canceling them, you build up support for them, trying to make them look innocent. Do you know what I mean? Like
Right.
people will jump on that and go, "Oh well, he's not." You know, they'll do that because they want to hold on to that. And I think it should be a little bit more like, if that stadium or football team or whoever it is wants to celebrate that person, let them do it. It's free enterprise. If people don't want to go to that stadium anymore, that's freedom of choice, right? If they don't want
Right.
to watch the Bills anymore because of it, that's your right. Do it. And I think
Right.
that they should let it fall, like roll the dice and let it land where it is. Like if they want to put his name on and they put it on and it hurts them, that's life, right? I mean, if it does, if it hurts the team and it hurts the stadium and hurts the performance and the money, then they have to make a choice, right? They have to decide, well, maybe we'll take it down and then we'll get people back in. But that's what, because we're supposed to be a free capitalist society. So let them be free and capitalist. If that's what they want to do, have at her and see what happens. Let it land where it is. And there's going to be a lot of people that'll boycott it and won't go. Well, that changed their mind, maybe, because they're probably doing things for money. So, but let them do it. I think as long as they're not putting up something that's like, don't get me wrong, they shouldn't put up like hateful stuff or mean stuff or anything. But he was a player for them. He did a good job at his time, way before any of this. That's their right. I think they should. But why didn't they? But you have to ask why they didn't do it. Like, what was the thinking behind them? What you know what I mean? Like, why did the stadium choose not to put it up?
They're on record saying, quote unquote, we just feel at this time that he's not a good fit for our new stadium. And that statement was made by the Bills, right? And when
Yeah,
they made that statement, um, the fan base went crazy. And a lot of people are saying, well, wait a minute here. If he's not a good fit for a new stadium, why was he a good fit for the old stadium? And the old stadium, his name was on there. Even going through the murder trial, he's acquitted, he wasn't acquitted,
yeah,
going back and forth like a yo yo. I mean, they kept his name on the stadium despite everything that happened.
yeah,
Fast forward, they have a new stadium, and now all of a sudden he's not a good fit. And when Buffalo made that, when they made that statement to their fans in public, that didn't sit very well with a lot of people because wait a minute here, you're judging a guy who actually helped make Buffalo to who they were,
yeah,
and broke many records. He still has a rushing title that has not been broken yet. And I mean, so he's done magical things on the football field. And now all of a sudden you get a new stadium, and now you're saying he's not a good fit. So if he's not a good fit now, why was he not? Why was his name not taken off the Wall of Fame when you had the old stadium? That's the disconnect that a lot of the fan bases have right now, and they actually it's gotten so bad that they actually have a petition in Buffalo right now, and people are signing that petition. I swear to you, right? They're signing this petition, and they're gonna once they get it signed, they're gonna send it back to Buffalo, and they're gonna do everything they can to make Buffalo put OJ Simpson on that new stadium because there's a lot of people that are not happy with that. And if I'm Buffalo, you built a brand new stadium, your ticket prices are sky high now. You're going to want to do everything you can, to pack that stadium. But if you do something like that, that's going to have an effect on that fan base. And
yeah,
I just want to see what's going to happen.
yeah.
What do you think?
Well, if they get enough, they'll back down. They'll probably put them on. I think it's something that'll happen eventually anyway, because, like I said, society right now in the U.S. right now, it's very there's a lot of pressure, very very woke sort of idea, as they call it, very, which there's some really good things about, and there's also some really bad things about. And canceling, I think, is one of the bad things. You can't just write someone off. And I'm not standing up for him, so don't send me any
I'm
hate
not
mail,
either. I totally did.
because whatever, he did a lot of bad things. Period. Whatever. It doesn't matter. But they'll do what their finances tell them to do. I really believe that big owners, big companies, well, and they're doing what they think is right in the mind. Because in the '90s, we weren't that kind of society. You know, people were still very um, very free. They're free now, but they would just say things that they would never say now. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
They're more thoughtful now, let's say. So they'll think that that's disturbing. There'll be people that'll be upset about it, and they'll want it off. And so that's not something they do 30 years ago. So, but I think it'll calm down, and I think you'll see it get there eventually. Just
Yeah.
just not right away. Depending on how many people they get, and what if it's about business for them. I'm sure, which is, sorry to say, it's probably not about OJ itself. It's more about business. Oh, we put his name and we lose money, and it's that's what the administration is in their mind thinking. They're not thinking, oh, well, let's do the right thing. I mean, I sound kind of pessimistic, but it's true. You know, it's going to be a money thing. So it's like the Michael Jackson thing, right? Here's a person, and you could have tons of hits and everyone loves you, and then all of a sudden the stories come out and people, ooh, he's a molester, like, you know what I mean, like so all of a sudden you get the same sort of thing. Yeah, we're not going to play his music on our station. We're not going to. You have that sort of thing going on, and I think one is because it's too close to us, it's too now, and the other is there's too many people that are objecting to these sort of things publicly or being aggressive about canceling. So, ooh, you're right in that middle. But I'm telling you, in time, it all goes away, you know, and
Right.
fades away. In time, people will just have the product, the music, the football. They won't have these emotions because they didn't live through it. So, and I think it just needs time, but we'll see. Go Buffalo.
Yeah. I mean, I was in New York when that all went down. I
Yeah.
was up in New York. We were actually in the studios in New York. We were recording a show. All of a sudden, you look up in the TV screen and you see this huge, huge report, about the child molesting and all that stuff. And we're like looking at each other like, no
What?
way. I mean, this guy is a musical superstar,
Yeah.
countless hits,
Yeah.
a very successful career. I mean, in the beginning, I couldn't put one and one together to make it two
Yeah.
because, I mean, it just
I
didn't make sense. But then once everything came out, then you're like, wow, when you least
yeah.
expect it, right? Yeah. How many times have we heard that interviewing people or in the news that we're both media personalities? So,
Yeah.
how many times have you heard if it happened, it happened?
Yeah.
you know?
Well, and I don't even take it myself after these many years. I don't take it as anything is 100%. I just kind of go, is it possible? Yeah. I don't have any 100% on any of that, like with Jackson or any of those. I just kind of think, I don't know, because when I've researched things, and you go out and you meet people and you meet the people involved and you do all this stuff and you're spending time there and you see the setting, where it's at, what the building looks like, how the access and everything, you feel and you learn a lot of stuff that you don't get from just watching the news or watching an article. So I kind of, after a while, I'm just not as convinced anymore about anything. As in, did it happen? I don't know. Maybe. Is he innocent? I don't know. I really don't. I'm just not so easy to jump on it. People jump on their feelings and think, oh, they don't really like him or they don't like something or whoever it is. and they let that lead their direction, how they feel about that person. And I'm not really, I'm getting away from that more and more as I get older, and I started to sort of see it, and I think, well, nothing's been proven. Nothing's 100%. There's a lot of questions, and that's with everything, like a lot of these things. So I'd rather keep it separate, like you were saying, like even with OJ or even with any of them. The Beatles, any star that you've ever had, there's stories and rumors and things that go on. I mean, is it true or not? I don't know. I don't have the evidence. And nowadays, with the AI and stuff you see online now, I see all sorts of things. I see people doing all sorts of things that I know isn't real. But that's kind of what we're at right now. So I'd rather. Plus, I don't think it's that important. Let the victims go after them, let them go, or whoever it is, and I'm all for that. With any of these things, if someone feels they've been assaulted or damaged or something, go for it, man. You should have that right to take that person in, to call the cops, go to court, do whatever. That's fair enough. But I don't want to be in that position of judgment.
No, I don't blame you. You brought up a great point about AI. I mean, obviously, you've done a ton of investigations. So fast forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about AI? And obviously, you're still doing investigation right now. Has AI guided you, or has it been a thorn in your side?
It's not been either, to be honest. Nothing. It's void. I AI right now is really inaccurate. Okay, I get a lot of mistakes. So if you go on there and you can ask it, I this is we were playing with this on the show actually about a month ago. It's like, so you can ask one AI question and tell us about this character. It gives you a big description. Then you go to a different AI and do it. It gives you a completely different one. They'll even give you birth dates different, where the person was born, um, names, all sorts of things. And so to me, it's like, for a book, that's not accurate. I can't go, I couldn't do that. I couldn't like, oh, it told me this and then write it into a book. Oh yeah, he was 46 and his name was Harold. And then later you find out, well, he was born Frank and he's not, he's 42. You know what I mean? So I don't want to, right now, it's just not anything for me. Um, but AI is used to transcribe the shows into question answer format, and that goes on Substack. So AI is doing that now from the podcast company. When you ask it to transcribe a show, gives you all the writing, because people are reading interviews rather than listening sometimes. And even that sometimes it gives the wrong name, or it gives the wrong, it just fills in what it thinks is right, sort of like a human. So I don't know. I don't really.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Well, sort of, so I don't know. I'd rather, at the moment, I'm still got the ability and I can go out, I can meet people, I can see the places, talk to people, get reports, go to prisons, do all that stuff, and it works. And it's great. AI can't do that for me, because AI, even when it becomes 100% and it becomes really good, let's say, and it's 100% accurate, it's still going to be missing that human component. Do you know what I mean? Like if I
Yes.
hadn't met you and I'm writing a story about you, I could read stuff. AI can tell me, well, he likes to wear a hat. He does this. He does. They can tell me things, and a lot of it is probably true, right? It's all great, but there's something missing from actually not speaking or seeing the person. There's a big difference there, and I think that if you have that experience to put into your book or story, it makes it better, you know, rather than secondhand. Even if it's like, well, Mickey told me this guy was this and that. That's, you know what I mean? Like I can go with
Right.
that and say, okay, well, he's this, and I can go with that. But it's not the same as me meeting and kind of going, oh no, he wasn't quite. He said, you know what I mean? There's a big difference. So I'd rather have firsthand. Even like I said, even if AI gets hot diggity great 100%, which it probably will eventually, even if it gets super, it's still going to be missing that element of what you get from that human, so, or location. So I don't see it changing my life.
Mine either. Who
Yeah,
knows?
I mean, who knows?
Let me ask you this. So, what qualities separate a great investigator from an average one?
Oh, just what we were saying. Just what we say. I really, I mean, because there's different abilities in people. People have different strengths. Some people are really good at organizing and figuring out things, um, reading a lot of documents, and they can do it, or go to court and really pick up what people are, how they're talking, and how they act, and really get a good feel for them. Um, so it's really about going out and meeting people and being live on the scene, and that's with anything. Even the old idea of the old news reports where they had something going on, and something's going on in Vegas. When you go and you turn on a Vegas station, they're there, they're happening. It's always going to be better than someone in New York reporting about what's happening in Vegas. You know, that's
Right.
that's sort of a problem I have, like even with the podcast sort of world, is someone's down in South Carolina and they're reporting about something they heard in Seattle. I'd rather hear it from someone in Seattle, because
Right.
so a good investigator is there investigating. That's, I think, for me, that's what makes someone even better than average. Average is someone that you can go online and you get the basic idea and you kind of have the basic facts. But better than average was someone that's actually there, smelling, tasting, touching, talking. It's a huge difference. Huge difference.
Let me ask you this. There's a lot of cold cases out there right now that have not been solved. Obviously we
Yeah.
don't have enough time in the show to cover them all. But here's my question though, right? Of all the cold cases out there, right? During your lifetime, is there like a specific cold case you would love to see get solved?
No.
No, come on, help me out here.
Oh no. Well, actually, the fun ones, like the ones like DB Cooper, who gets away with the money and stuff like that. I'd love to know things like that more than murders cases. It just weird cases like that where someone gets away with something, and or even things like oh geez, like that pilot, that Earhart, Amelia Earhart. What happened? Like, I'd love to know what happened, reality, not just, stuff. Or planes that go missing, like that MH350 or whatever. Remember that plane that the pilot said good night and everything
The one
normal,
that
and
disappeared
open,
and never came back.
just
Yeah.
gone, and no one knows. Things like that I find more fascinating than detailed murder cases. Maybe I should be writing that. I don't know.
See, I just gave you an idea.
Yeah, yeah. No, I just, because that's kind of, because there's so many human elements, there's so many physical, there's so many things that will play into what happened. Do you know what I mean? It's not just Joe, oh, I hated my mother, so I killed every woman that looked like her. It's not just that. It's something, there's so many details, like, with the plane, like the atmosphere, the pilot, the co-pilot, all the people. There's so many things going on. You have to wonder what really was going on here. DB
Mhm.
Cooper, what was really going on? Did he really get away? Did he live? You know what I mean? Like things like Jack the Ripper. Who was Jack the Ripper, really? Or Zodiac Killer? Some of those that are really sensational in a way, um, I think would be fascinating, but it'll never happen. Maybe Zodiac with DNA. Yeah, but
Let me ask you this now. Let's take a trip down memory lane. You've had such an amazing career. You've been in, you've done some amazing things, and so let's go down memory lane. I would like you to pick two memories that mean a lot to you, and you still think about those today. What are those memories, and why are they still fresh in your head?
what? Who are you? No.
Russell K. You can put me there. I'm Russell K.
What? What? Where am I? What day is this? Oh, I don't know what memories that's in with my work, right? I think
Yeah,
that
you had an amazing career. I mean, come on.
uh, but the thing is, things don't. That's not how I remember things. I think I remember things more from meeting the people and doing the stuff. And probably okay. So let's say probably this one thing was a case that happened in the '80s. Family of six was murdered. Okay, this guy saw them in a camping ground, killed the four adults, the grandparents, the parents, to get to the two little girls. Kills them all, does bad things to the girls, burns the bodies. He gets caught, put in jail. Okay, done. Well, then I don't know, five, maybe longer years ago, um, I get approached about would I write a book on it? Well, why? And it's like, well, he's up for parole. Parole, killing six isn't enough, and so I ended up meeting, and then family members, and eventually it turned into a book. Okay, so it worked and turned into a book. We did about 200 interviews on TV and stuff, and they got 44,000 signatures to keep him in prison, and he stayed in prison. So things like that are probably a good, better memory of something that I'm doing anyway, and it really helped someone today. You know what I mean? Like it made a difference today, because most of what I do doesn't. Most of what I do is it's written in the past, or it's something that's already done, and it doesn't make much difference like that. Like that actually changed people's lives today. So that would probably be something I would say. Um, so something like that, probably that would be the biggest memory. Second biggest memory is maybe meeting certain people, which isn't always good.
Yeah,
Because if
I
anything,
understand
I've
that
learned. No,
one.
because I've learned, because some people you meet and you think, wow, it's just going to be so great, and you're a fan, right? And then you're sitting
Surprise,
there
surprise.
with them in the studio, and then they start talking about really weird stuff on the break, like saying really bad things, like, oh my God. And you're like,
You're like, oh my god.
yeah, and it's like, this is really fun. And that, so if anything, now that's probably why I don't want to meet too many. I've met enough, because I meet them and I get disappointed, and then it's really sad, because then you end up not watching their TV show ever again, because it's that bad. It's really, some of them are really surprising, and even singers too. There's been a few that it's like, wow, holy cow, wow, I don't get it. Not just like Kardashian, that sort of thing, where they're, all this image. It just, sometimes they're just really not very nice. And they're not very nice, not necessarily to me, but to the people around them and the people working for them. And it's like, ooh, I'm glad I don't work for her. But I know I'm not going to say names, but that's probably the other ones. They stick out because you remember them more so because you're sitting and working, and all of a sudden they'll do something and they're on TV, or they've got a new show out, and you're like, oh, wow.
I'm gonna give you a stat right now that's gonna blow your mind. All right.
Yeah.
So this is not actually true. We actually did a survey, and we kind of like, because we knew we were gonna have you on a show, and
Uh-oh.
we wanted to pick a specific subject and kind of like do a survey on it and see what the general public thought. So we're gonna go to serial killers. Would you not know that many people are fascinated by serial killers? Now, for me, I'm in shock because I'm never gonna support a serial killer. Never. So my question to you, being the expert, how in the world do we live in a world where people are fascinated by serial killers who've done the unthinkable? Help me understand that.
I can't. I don't know. I think that I've seen these things come and go for years, This isn't the first time. It seemed like when people are into the paranormal and talking to the dead, and serial killers seem to be murderers seem to take the focus of society. And you see it usually after wars, like World War I and II, because a lot of people, their kids go away and they fight and they never come back. They never get their body. There's a lot of terrible stuff happens at war, and then you get all of the paranormal stuff, and then you quite often people get involved in killings and murderers and stuff. It seems to be really famous for a while, 10, 20 years, sometimes longer. And we seem to be in that again, and I don't know why. Maybe there's a sense of control over serial killers because people are into them. They're into the ones that have been caught. They're not into people. They're not chasing. Like if they put the focus on people that are being killed and they're trying to find who did it, as much as they did with the ones like Ted Bundy and Dahmer and all that, we probably have a lot more cases solved. But
Oh
most of the
yeah.
podcasts, most of the shows, most of the books, everybody's doing all these cases that are done, beginning, middle, end. And I think that makes people feel comfortable. I think that makes them feel like we've got the power in a sense. Like, they're watching a show or they're part of something that how it ends. And so it's okay. It's the things that we don't know how it ends that it really drives them nuts and stuff. So they're not doing that. They're into the killer. So, how many Ted Bundy shows are there, and movies and books?
I was
Holy,
just gonna say that too. Hmm.
but it keeps coming, and people still watch it. They still read them, and they're still buying them. Why? We kind of know what happened, you know, and it's still there. I don't know. It's something about it that I wished I knew. That I don't understand, but I think it's something to do with the beginning, middle, end comfort sort of thing. We know how it ends, so it's in control. It's okay to go wild if we know the ending. Yeah.
Are you working on any new projects right now?
Yeah. One about a radio
What you
host.
got?
One about a radio host that goes crazy and starts killing all of his. No, actually,
Let's talk about I want to talk about your radio show. Let's talk about that first. How's the radio show going?
it's going good. It's going good. I've gone down to 2 days a week instead of 5. It's 16 years now, and I need a little more time for myself and my dogs and stuff like that. I just need more time. So yeah, so I'm down to just doing 2 a week, 2 new ones every week, and then the rest are reruns. So that's what. But it's going good. It's going fine. It's going really good. We're really focusing on a lot of new writers and new filmmakers, new people new to the business, doing the first project or so. So we're doing a lot of indies and a lot of stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. It's actually it's kind of fun that way. It's kind of throw stuff around. I like that better than the name brands, which are fine too. We've done a lot, but this is good. I like what's going on. So that's it. Nothing like that. And for books, I've got a couple of murder things running. I've also got a couple of fiction series running, based on true stuff. So from the '60s. One was the family of a senator out of Washington State from the '60s, who was a Democrat who retired and moved back east. His son took over the home and wife and 2 kids, and someone thought it was him, and they went and killed the family.
Oh wow.
Well, it was pretty graphic. Wait, this is like in the mid '60s, and so I thought that was something to base the story on. So that's part of the story, but I've taken a fictional detective who is based on someone real. This is really crazy because it's someone I met out of Boston, who I helped write a book, and his memoir, and he had some pretty awful things happen to him as a kid, and his parents and all that, and the whole cop world. So I've taken that person, moved him to Seattle, and he's going to be working on the case, so to speak. and actually a whole series of cases. And I built characters around him. So he's real, and there's a lot of real stuff, and I still get that from that person. I still communicate with that person a lot. He's very involved in it because he's got to be real. He's a real person, and there's something going on real. So it's fictional how we solve things, and the reason is because I like it. Because in fiction, um, in true crime, quite often justice doesn't get served. In fact, a lot of times it doesn't get
Boy,
served.
that's a surprise.
So in I can make things happen. Okay, people can pay for their crimes, really pay, not just slap on the wrist. So I can make it happen in this, and so I'm going to make it happen. So that's kind of the other thing. So I got both fiction and a little bit of true crime going.
Right on.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Let's look at your career as a whole. Are there any like cases that you've worked on other than ones we spoke about? Are there any other cases that maybe you could share with us?
Oh, there's lots, lots and lots.
Give me two. Give me like two juicy ones.
Well, one is the that I found very interesting was the Jack McCulloch case. Jack McCulloch was put away for that murder in the 50s in Chicago for a murder of Maria. Oh, sorry, I forget her last name. Rudolph, Maria Rudolph, 6-year-old girl. And so anyway, he's out. He got released, and he lives in Seattle. He never committed the murder. Never did it. And even the police had changed the timing. They did all these things to put him away, and it really looks like he was a not well liked kid at the place in the Chicago and the area. Did a lot of things that were not great. He wasn't a great person, great kid, and they just got rid of him, put him away because he's he's not liked. So I took it from that point of view. And so when I met him, and this is true, I met him and spent time with him, wrote the story, and he's one of the worst people I've ever met in my life.
Why you say that?
Um, uh, he says things like, America started to go to hell as soon as they decided to let a woman go to work. Okay. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So right from the get-go, he's just not a good character. He also his stepsister, he took her to an apartment and a big pile of guys assaulted her
Oh no.
and she was like 14, 15. And he's just not a good person. He's not. But then that was the whole idea of the case. The case is when someone's just not a good person or you don't like them, you just don't hang out with them as long as they don't break the law. So you can't put them away for a murder that they're an hour and a half away and they didn't do just because they're a bad person. You know what I mean? So I think that was the angle
Yeah.
I took. I put a lot of the raw stuff in. And I even said, this is probably a person, probably one of the worst people you'll ever meet if you met him. And if you hear about him and you listen to him, you're going to go, oh, I hate this guy. This is awful. Ooh, because he's really he's really out there. But we can't just be putting people away because they're not nice people. Do you know what I mean? Because they're,
No, it's funny you say that because I just wonder how many innocent people are in jail right now for a crime they never committed, and they're spending years and years of their life behind a bar in a crime that they've
yeah,
never done. I mean, how
right.
when is the judicial system to wake up and smell the coffee? Really?
Well, the thing is, we've in the U.S. it's privatized a lot. You have a lot of different divisions. You don't really have someone focusing on justice per se. Some people scream at me for that, but the truth is, a lot of it's financially based. Anytime you privatize something, it becomes financially based, and that over the time, it becomes the premier, the goal that it's run for is money, making money, and that takes the focus off of justice. And so that's number one. That's a big problem there. But how do we change that? We can change it, but we're in a state where right now I don't think anything's going to change
Mhm.
too quickly because it's just not a real loving group right now. But you know, but you know, and too many people have control over it. You know, state to state, each state runs a lot of their own justice, and then there's federal justice. It's just too much. It's too overwhelming for something that should be something much simpler, much more straightforward. You know, someone goes out and steals a pack of hockey cards from school or from a drugstore. There should be a punishment period. That's it. You know, whatever it is. We you know, we just need to have things regulated in a way of, you know, stop all this other stuff. You know, it's like uh, what the guy that killed that mayor, that gay mayor back in San Francisco, whatever, years ago, right? The Twinkie defense, you
Oh
know,
yeah,
it's all
I
because
remember that one.
he does too much sugar. Come on, I mean, there's one thing, yeah, you don't like Ace, fine, fair enough. Like, I mean, but the truth is, this is a human being. Another one shot and killed someone. I don't care if they're doing too many Twinkies. It's just, you know, and this is the problem with justice. We have too many of those things, and then people lose faith in justice, and they go, "Oh yeah, you can get away with anything. You can do that," or you can, and it's also financially private. So you've got people with a lot of money. They never go to jail. They have a lot of lawyers. They go to court over and over and over again, but you never see them in jail. Do you know what I mean? That's why people don't have faith in the justice system, because there's too much of that. And 90% of us are just living. You know,
Yeah,
we could never
pretty
get away
much.
with that.
Yeah,
We'd never have that. Like, we're living, we're working, we might be happy, we might have family, everything might be good. But the truth is, justice is not really there for us. And I think that's what most people feel. Most people feel like it's there, but ooh, stay away from it. You know,
yeah.
you don't have the money or the power to handle something if it goes wrong, you know. So I think, you know, how we make that better, there's a lot of different things, but you know, I don't know what to say. I just, so that's the problem.
Let me ask you this: what advice would you give someone who's actually looking to write their first real crime book? I mean, what advice would you give them?
Go out and kill someone, and then you can write it firsthand, and nobody else has the story. No, I think the thing is, honestly, just do what you want to do. Like, because look at, I was not good at English or writing, and if anything, I didn't pay attention in school, and but I've worked it and I've made it. But what I do is even take night classes right now to get better at it, and I take courses. I kind of look at it like, I've got this opportunity, and how do I make it better? I got to make what I do better and make myself better and keep learning and training myself. So I take classes. I do all sorts of stuff. So I think the thing is just to focus on what you want to do, how you want to do it, and ignore everybody in this big brother world, right? You got to, because if you worry about negative reviews, or you worry about this person says that, or someone on social media, don't, ignore all of that. Hang out with your friends, talk to people you know and stuff. And if they're not supportive, delete, move on. Because what it does is, if someone said something, a bad review, and you sit there and you worry, and then you sit there and answer, or you get into a big battle with it, your focus starts to go on that. It's not on what you're doing. It's not on your story. It's not on your writing. It's not on the case. It's on people that are saying things. Don't go there, because and not only that, it changes the way you write. Because then the next time you're writing, you start thinking, oh, they don't like it when I do this, you know, and I don't. That's who you are. Do you, and just do it. And the little stuff, you know, that's why it's freedom. If someone doesn't like your show, turn the channel. Do you know what I mean? They don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like, he wears that hat. I hate that. Right?
Hmm.
Turn the channel. You know, why, you know what I mean? How hard is it? You know, and it's, so don't focus on someone that doesn't like something. They don't like it. They don't like it. Well, you know, you can't do anything about that. You know,
No, yeah.
if it's something logical, well, you know, the video's not good, you know, it's always shaky, or so then you can kind of go, okay, well, that makes sense. How can we make the video better? Yeah, you know, you can do things like that. But if they just don't like you or don't like the way you write or don't like the way you do, fine. Go. There's a lot of other people doing it. Just do it. Just go somewhere else. That's how my attitude. So don't focus on all that other stuff because it'll take you off of what you're trying to do. So
Yeah. My saying is like, you can please some of the people some of the time, but you can't please all the people all the time.
no, impossible, impossible. And a lot of it too, right? A lot of the reviews and the negativity you get, you'll find that you get that they're having a terrible day. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times you read, you see a review, you start to realize that they're coming from some anger or something's going on, and they're just not happy, and then they write, and, something really mean, and it's kind of like, it's not. So it's just not worth it. Move on. Just keep writing.
Yep. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary?
Yeah,
Anything above our answered no. It's left to be unsaid.
yeah,
I learned that one a long time ago. Actually, one of my managers back in the day in the radio station, we were having an argument over something, and he sits me down and he goes, "Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary?"
yeah,
If any above are answered no, it's best to be left unsaid. And do you not know that happened like 10 years ago, maybe, or maybe a little bit longer.
yeah,
And to this day, I still remember that. And I look back, I remember him. When you ever get into a situation, right? Maybe you're getting mad at somebody, or someone says, or like you said, you don't like your hat, or whatever the case may be, right? And it's like you want to lay into that person, and but then kind of like what we do, we can't, I mean, obviously what we do, you got to back off, and you kind of know what I'm saying, but
yeah, yeah. Oh
yeah,
yeah. Well, if it's not important in 5 years, it won't be important, right? So don't worry about it. If it's
exactly.
something that isn't going to matter in 5 years, why would you care about it now? It's just stuff, and there's too many other things to do. You got to get on it with it, otherwise you'll just be chasing everyone around. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know we talked a lot of cool things today on the interview, right? Is there anything that maybe we haven't talked about? Maybe you'd like to share with our audience or watch now? We'll be watching later.
No,
Nothing, because we have something called the lightning game coming up for you. By the way, we're gonna call this game. Once we're done with the questions, we have something for you specifically. It's called the lightning game. Stay tuned.
I'm just trying to survive. Yeah, no, no, I have. There's nothing. Send all your hate mail to Russell. How's that?
Yeah, I'm sure after this interview, we're gonna have some hate mail.
Yeah, and it all you can take care of it. Let me
It
know
won't
how
be
it
the
goes.
first. It won't be the last time. Trust me.
Yeah, yeah,
I
no,
mean,
yeah,
this is why you love the job, right? I mean, us as interviewers, right? We're both interviewers, so I mean, this is what you love about the job. I mean, you talk about some pretty. What's the word I'm looking for?
controversial.
Borderline
Yeah,
topics.
yeah, things that people get emotional about, and the thing is, you should be able to talk. That's the whole idea, right? Because we don't get through
Right.
things if we can't talk about them, right? So they should be fine with it. And if not, Russell K, what's your email? We'll put it out there.
Um, I just got a note from my producer. He's like, after the show's over, we're changing everything, including your email.
Yeah, 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 totally.
But when I get out, I mean, I'll give it to you,
Yeah, yeah,
but not on the
yeah.
air.
And I'll forward the stuff I get. You can take care of it.
All right, here comes the lightning game. All right, and again, the lightning game is being brought to you by OTW Hauling. Again, if you have any jobs, you need any help with anything, they do more than hauling. They offer a variety of services. They're located here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and just go to the Facebook, look on their OTW um, Savage and all that stuff, and they do all kinds of stuff. So look them up, get their phone number, let them know that you heard it right here on the Outer Spotlight Show. And again, they are going to be sponsoring my friend Alan Warren's
Yeah.
lightning round.
Ooh,
And here it
exciting.
comes. All right, Alan, this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
All right. This is the part of the interview that you're never going to forget.
There you go. What else is there, right?
All right. First one, coffee or tea?
Oh, coffee.
Okay. Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Oh, I live in the morning right now. So I'm a morning person now, but naturally I'm a night owl. I don't know what you want.
All right. Beach or mountains?
Who? What?
Beach or mountains?
Mountain.
All right. Now, this is relating to your books. Do you like paperback books or do you like Kindle books?
Paperback.
So you're not a supporter of trees.
No, not at all. Actually, I prefer you didn't left one out. I prefer audio.
It's not on my
Well,
cheat sheet,
that's
though.
what
I'm
I'm
looking.
telling you. That's all I listen to. I just listen. So
All right. All right. What is your favorite movie?
the whiz.
All right. What's your favorite TV series?
Peter Gunn.
All right. What is your favorite vacation destination?
Myrtle Beach.
There you go. Hey, when you come down, man, seriously, if you ever come down here, I'm gonna bring you in the studio, man. We have some fun. I'll take you some spots, man. We'll have a
There you
blast.
go. See, told you.
It's on my boss's credit card, so yeah,
That-
we use this credit.
yeah, yeah. So got a lot of fun.
Small budget. What can I tell
Yeah,
you?
got lots.
All right. Do you like dogs or
Dog.
cats? All right. Do you like sweet or salty snacks?
Oh boy. I guess salty.
Who is your what is your favorite music to relax to? Music Dreams USA Radio. Let's go to the next one. All right. All
Relax.
right. All right. So if Hollywood made a movie about your life, what would it look like? And who would be the characters in your movie?
Bruce Willis. What would it look like? I don't know. It would be a comedy drama. I don't know.
All right. If you could have dinner with any three people, living or historical, who would they be?
Oh boy. Um, I don't know. Dinner. Um, Hannibal Lecter. No.
Alan,
Um,
this isn't working out too good right now.
no. No. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Living or dead. Let's just say, boy, I'm not interested in having dinner. I don't know.
Okay, we're gonna skip. We're gonna skip it. All right, you're my buddy, man. We're gonna skip that one. All right. So, all right, let me ask you this one. All right, what is the funniest thing that's ever happened to you during a live interview? So you're interviewing somebody. What was the funniest thing that's ever happened?
Oh, interviewing them about the wrong thing. They're the wrong person.
Really?
Yeah, that's probably totally wrong person. Have all the wrong information, wrong book, wrong everything.
How did they react?
Well, they didn't catch on, and in fact, halfway through, then we started realizing this isn't the same. This isn't the right person. So yeah, no, it turned out okay, but it was really weird.
Yeah. So I'll tell you one of my funny ones. Right. I was doing a football. I was doing because we covered NFL
Yeah.
and for Roswell Family Sports, and we were doing an event, and I was trying to get an interview with the coach, who I thought was the coach. So I run up to the sideline, right? I'm like, "Hey, I'm Russell K. I'm the sideline reporter here. Like, you have a minute? I'd like to do an interview, right?" Since you're the head coach, right? And this guy's like just like looking at me. I'm like, "You are the head coach, right?" He's like, "Look again. I'm one of the fans." I'm like, oh my God. And we're like live now. We're live, right? I'm like, we'll be right back.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's the kind of yeah. Yeah.
All right. So, if someone looked in your refrigerator right now, what would they find
Oh, what would they find? They'd find
in your refrigerator?
in my refrigerator. They'd find some cold coffee, iced coffee, and Jello pudding. What else do they find? Milk and some chicken.
Cold
And
chicken, huh?
yeah, well, just yeah, cooked chicken. Cooked chicken. Yeah, that's it. Some eggs. That's just well, maybe some soda.
Well, if they were looking at my kitchen, they wouldn't find nothing because I haven't went shopping yet.
Yeah, yeah, see, yeah. And the fridge is empty.
Empty one. All
Yeah,
right. So,
yeah.
what is one item you would never leave home without?
Wallet.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Nobody talks to me. I don't know. What best advice? Um, be true, be kind, have peace of mind.
All right. Here's the final one. If you could solve one mystery in history, what would it be?
um, who shot JFK? I
Well,
mean,
that's very interesting. I mean, it's kind of weird that we still don't know the really truth behind that, you know?
yeah, yeah, I lean toward Lee Harvey Oswald's probably the guy that shot him, but I think there's more to it. Do you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
do. I think there's a lot more to it, but I don't know. But either way, however that turns out, yeah. So what's the answer?
I'm gonna go with yours and run.
Yeah, yeah. See, yeah, there you see. Yeah.
All right. One final question for you. How did you and Mickey with you know, creative, how did you guys get together?
Oh, I met him in a sex club in.
Did you? Tell me more. I
Doesn't
like
that
this
sound
one.
good? Like, yeah, he was at some sex club and he was dressed like a big bird and had a big head on and everything like that, and little bikini. And no, where's see, that's how rumors start. No, let's see. Where did I? Oh, I think I met him online originally. Online, yeah, yeah, just on Facebook. No,
Oh my
on.
god.
Oh, you know what it was? I know what it was. He was on. He was. I came across his OnlyFans page.
First it's the sex club, now it's the fan page.
Yeah, no, I don't know. No, actually I just came across him on. I think it was Facebook, and we talked once, and then later we kind of met, talked more, like years
Alan,
later.
Alan, of all the social media outlets, you had to pick Facebook.
I'm Gen X. I'm old.
I love it. I
What
love
can
it, man.
right? What can I say? That's it. I mean, that was
Well,
years ago too.
oh man, thank you, my friend, for the interview today. I mean, what a blast we've had, and we're gonna have you back on for part 2 and 3. I
Uh
mean,
oh.
yeah,
Uh
well,
oh.
I'm gonna bring it back, man. Or I'm gonna go on your show. We can continue that way too. So either you're
Yeah.
coming here, or I'm going there. We're gonna wrap this up one way or the other.
Oh, we'll do it. We'll do it.
And my friend, thank you so much for being here on the Artist Spotlight Show, and special thank you to Mickey and his amazing team. So, my friend,
Yeah.
keep on rocking, and and we'll see you soon, I'm sure. And thank you for all that you do, and wow, amazing.
Well, thanks a lot for having me on. I appreciate it.
All right, you take care, my friend. Have a great rest of your day, and thank you so much for being here.
You too. Take care.
Take care.